Welcome back. Here we are in segment 4, and this is your new lesson for today. And this part of your lesson today is going to concentrate on intervals of a third. Now, we've talked about those in the other 3 segments today, but let's use our hand to start, okay? To remind ourselves how to play and how to read an interval of a third, okay? So, here we go. You have 5 lines, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, just like the music staff, and 4 spaces, 1, 2, 3, 4, just like the music staff. If my note is written here and my next note is written here, I didn't skip anything, so I went 1 to 2. I went an interval of a second, or a step is what you learned in the very beginning. Now today we're going to go from a line to a line. Did you see how I jumped up to that line and I skipped this space? When I do that, I'm moving 1, 2, 3, an interval of a third. And that means on the piano, I have to skip 1 white key. So if I start on C and I skip the next white key, which is D, and I go to E, then I play C, E, C, E, just like your exercise, right? Those are all intervals of a third. And then walking down, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the left hand going down are intervals of a second, all right? So if you write a note on a line and you want to go up a third, you write a note on the next line. If you want to write a note in the space, and remember the line is above and below the head of the note for a space note, I want to write a third going higher, I'm going to skip that line and jump up to the next space. That would be an interval of a third. So thirds are skips and seconds are steps. Thirds are skips and steps are seconds. All right, so let's look in our books in our new lesson today. Let's start with our theory book. Turn to page 24 in your theory book. Measuring thirds. Everybody have it open? When you skip a white key, the interval is a third. Thirds are written line to a line or space to a space. Remember, thirds go to the same thing. If you start on a line, you go to a line. If you start in a space, you go to a space. All right? So if I start on a C and I go up a third, I go to E. If I go up a third from there, I go to a G. If I go back down a third, I go back to the E, and I back down again to a third, I go to the C. So C, E, G, E, C are all line thirds. If I go D, F, D, then I'm using space thirds. I skip the line. So it tells you here, write the name of each note under the note and say whether it's up a third or stays the same or down a third, okay? You say that. So the first one goes up a third and they tell you C to E. And then the note stays the same. So it's the same E. E to G. And then down a third. G to E. And then, oh, look at that. That's not a third. Down a second. E to D, the very next letter back. And then down another second, D to C. Okay? Number 3, you just simply say whether you have an interval of a second or a third. You don't even have to say if it's going up or down. Third going up, third going up, second going up, third going up, second going up, third going down, second going down, second going down. Okay, I'm not going to give you the answers for the bottom. Let's see how you do by yourselves, and we'll check it next week. All right, please open in your lesson book to page 38. Who's on third? Okay, looks like that. And I want you to notice that you're going to have notes that are repeated and then up a third. Notes that are repeated and up a third. Notes that are repeated and up a third. You see that? See that pattern? So it's a good idea when you're looking at your music, not only to just clap and count, but also to say if the notes are staying the same or they're going up or down seconds or thirds, so that your eye sees which way the notes are going. Remember to look at the head of the note. Don't be too concerned with the stems pointing up or down. Be more concerned about the position of the note head. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to clap and count. So I'm going to put my music on my stand so I can look at it. Make sure your music is where you can see it. And we're going to count 4 beats in a measure because the time signature is 4/4. And I'm going to say 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I'm going to clap. Remember the notes that get 2 beats, you have 2 numbers. So the first measure is 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? So here we go. 1, 2, ready, clap. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Second line. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And what did you notice? There's no repeat sign at the end of this. So you play this only once. And did you notice rhythm patterns that were the same? 1, 2, 3, 4 is the same as this. Is the same as this. That's different. Is the same as this. Is the same as this. And it's the same as this. But the rhythm of this measure and this measure are the same, all quarter notes. So it's always good to look at your music and see if you can find what's the same and what's different. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to say the letter names. C, C, E, D, D, F, E, E, G, G, E, F, D. Second line of music in the bass clef. C, C, E, D, D, F, E, E, G, E, F, D, C. All right? Now, here's the new part. Now tell me if the notes stay the same, they go up a second, up a third, or down a third, or down a second. So, the first measure stays the same. This note to this note goes up a third. This note to this note, the E to the D, goes down a second. This note to this note stays the same. This note to this note goes up a third. This note to this note goes down a second. This note to this note stays the same. This note to this note goes up a third. This note to this note stays the same. This note to this note goes down a third. This note to this note goes up a second. This note to this note goes down a third. And then you do the same thing, same practice way for the next line. I'm going to play it for you so you can hear it. 1, 2, 3, 4. And it's MF. Those 2-note phrases, remember, loud, soft when you have a 2-note phrase. All right, terrific. Good luck with that one. And now you're going to take out your recital book and you're going to open to page 15. And 15 has Robin Hood for a title, okay? Notice in this music, there's 4 beats in a group. It's played MF for the first 2 lines and F for the second 2 lines. There is a repeat sign at the end, so you're going to go back and play it twice. The right hand thumb begins on middle C, and the left-hand 5 begins on the C below it. I don't see any slurs in this music. I don't see any ties in this music, okay? So when you play this, you're going to play your first 2 lines MF, moderately loud, and your second 2 lines F forte. And I'm going to play it once for you so you can hear it and you know what you want to sound like when you get to the end. Listen to see if I play the second 2 lines louder than the first. 1, 2, 3, 4. Second 2 lines. And you make sure that you repeat it when you practice. All right, everyone, that's it for today. Remember, next week is our last lesson together online. So I will see you then. Practice hard. Bye-bye. Have a great week.